GitHub. GitHub is a code hosting platform for version control and collaboration. In GitHub, you can have either private repositories or public repositories, and in those repositories, you can store your code. But with rising cybersecurity risks, it's becoming very important to secure your code and your repository and to basically code in a secure manner. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Ethical Cruise. And today in this video, I'm going to provide you an overview of different security features offered by GitHub. So without any further ado, let's start. GitHub has security features that helps in securing the code and secrets in repositories and across organizations. Some security features are available to all public or private repositories, whereas some additional features are available to customers freely for public repositories and under an advanced security license for enterprise customers or for private repositories. Now let's see various security features available to all repositories being provided by GitHub. So our first one is a security policy. So security policy is an instruction document that instructs user how they can report any security vulnerability they have found in the project. I am taking an example of one public repository which is present like this node repository, this present in this node.js. Here under this security tab, if I'll go to this overview section, here you can see that security policy is enabled. Okay. And if I click on this security policy, you can see like this particular repository has this security policy, how users can report any vulnerability if they have found. Like Node.js is also having bug bounty program. They can report bugs which they have found, and there are different methods which they can use. Okay. This file is usually have this security.md nomenclature. And if I'll go to this code on the home page, you will be able to find this file here. Like this is your security.md file, which you can find it here. Okay. So this is your security policy, which users can use. They can read it before reporting any security vulnerability found in the project. Next is your security advisories. Security advisories can be used to privately discuss, fix, and publish information about vulnerability present in your repository to alert your community. So let's suppose there is some vulnerability present in your repository, and there are different users who are using your dependencies, who are using your repository as a dependencies in their project. Okay, so if you have any vulnerability you have found, you can basically fix that and then can raise a security advisory so that your community will know that there was something vulnerable in the version which they were using earlier, and now you have provided an update and they can use an updated version to update their dependencies. Again, you can find this under this security tab. Going to overview under this advisories, since you can always create your security advisories. There is no security advisories which is present for this particular repository at this present moment. That's why they are having this message. There aren't any published security advisories. So you can have any security advisory for your repositories whenever you fix and want to publish communication to your community. Third one is your Dependabot. So Dependabot is a feature provided by GitHub that can raise the alerts about vulnerabilities that are present in the dependencies which you are using. Also, Dependabot can create an automatic pull request to basically fix or update the dependency. Let me show you one of the repositories. This is one of the repositories, and in here you can see, again, go to the security tab. Under this vulnerability alerts, you can see this Dependabot section. So if you click on this Dependabot section, you will see like there is one vulnerability that has been identified by Dependabot, like this JUnit, which is getting used in this particular project, is vulnerable because the versions which is present is having some vulnerability. So what Dependabot has done, Dependabot has basically scanned the repository and has alerted us about the vulnerability present in that particular dependency version. Okay. So after after creating it, after detecting it, it will also create a pull request for us, which we can use, which we can review it and then can merge to our default branch. And in this manner, we can have all those vulnerabilities eliminated by having the latest version of the dependencies. If we'll go to this pull request, we can see there are various pull request that has been faced by Dependabot. Next comes your dependency graph. So dependency graph is another feature provided by GitHub, which can be used to identify all your project dependencies. Okay, sometimes you're using very less dependencies, so it is very easier for you to basically get a graph, or basically you get a visualization of all the dependencies which you are using. But if you are working on a very big project and you are having so many dependencies, then this dependency graph can help you out to identify your project dependencies. For this, let's go to this Insights tab and go to this dependency graph. Here, since I'm using very less dependencies, that's why I'm seeing very less count here. But if you will be using more dependencies in your project, you will have all those dependencies count here. Last is your security overview. Now, this provides an overview which security features are enabled for your repository and the options to enable security features that are not enabled already. So for this, what you'll have to do, you go to the security tab and just go to this overview, and you can see different options which are present and whether they are enabled or not. Okay, like this security policy. So that first one, security policy, which I talked about, security policy.md, an instruction document for the users. So in this particular repository, the security policy is not present, it is disabled. Okay, so what I can do, I can set up a security policy from here. Okay, security advisories is enabled. So security advisory is enabled, but if it is not enabled, you can again click here to basically set up your security advisories. There are another tools also like private vulnerability reporting, which is disabled, Dependabot, code scanning, secret scanning. They are different features which you can enable. And if it is enabled already, you will see something like that they are enabled. So this is like a overview of all the security configurations which is present inside your repository. So these are various security features which are provided by GitHub and are available to all repositories. Now let's see security features available to public repositories only. Now this is basically your secret scanning alerts for partners. GitHub automatically detects leaked secrets across all public repositories and inform the service providers about the compromised secrets. This particular secret scanning alert for partner is available only for public repositories. And what it does is GitHub automatically detects leaked secrets across all public repositories and inform the service providers about the compromised secrets. Okay, and this is not for private repositories. Next come your secret features available with GitHub Advanced Security. Now, following GitHub features are available and free of charge for public repositories and can be enabled for private repositories under an advanced security license. So the first one is your code scanning. Code scanning is a feature provided by GitHub, which can be used to find security vulnerabilities and errors in code. GitHub displays and alerts in the repositories for the potential identified vulnerability in the same manner as Dependabot. Okay, let's see. Again, you can go to the security section, and under this vulnerability alerts, you can see code scanning. Okay. For now, I do not have code scanning enabled here. That's why I cannot see any code scanning alerts being triggered by GitHub. But you can configure this tool, and once you will be able to configure this code scanning tool, this code scanning tool is called CodeQL in GitHub, and by this you can find any security vulnerabilities present inside your code. So Dependabot, Dependabot was doing, first of all, it was available for all repositories, whether it was public or private, and it was alerting you for the vulnerabilities present in your dependency. Now the code scanning is available for public repositories and for private repositories with GitHub Advanced Security License. And what it will do, it will find it will find errors and vulnerabilities in the code part itself. Okay. Next feature is your secret scanning alerts for users. Now this is meant for users and this is not for partners. Okay. Do not confuse with the previous one where I talked about secret scanning alerts for partners. Now this is only meant for users. So GitHub automatically detects tokens or credentials that have been checked into a repository and raises an alert for that, which can be viewed from security tab of the repository. So here, first of all, go to the security tab and then go to the secret scanning part. Okay. The secret scanning section will have all the secrets which has been identified by GitHub, which has been accidentally checked in by users or has been deliberately being pushed into GitHub. Okay, so all those secrets can be detected by GitHub and will be displayed here. Last one is a dependency review. So dependency review let you catch insecure dependencies before they even get introduced in the environment. So let's suppose if you have any pull request, so this dependency review will basically check your pull request for presence of any vulnerability and then will alert it if it has found any vulnerability, so that even before merging that pull request in your default branch, your vulnerabilities can be resolved. Okay, so in this manner, you will not be able to introduce any new vulnerability in the application and your code will be more secure. Now let's see summary of this GitHub Advanced Security features. Okay, this table will basically summarize all these features. Like if you can see, like for public repositories, you can have all those three: this code scanning, this secret scanning, this dependency review. All these three options are present. But with private repository, which is not having advanced security license, you will not have any of these. Like this code scanning is also not present, secret scanning is also not present, this dependency review is also not present. But if you're working on a private repository but having this advanced security license, then you will have this code scanning as well as secret scanning as well as dependency review. So you will have all these three. Let's see, I'll show you in comparison between a public repository and a private repository. As you can see, the sections on the left, in the private repository, you have sections overview, policy advisories. In the public, you have overview, policy advisories. Now in the private, you have only this Dependabot section, but in the public repository, you have this Dependabot section as well as code scanning and secret scanning, which is present only for public repository. Also, there is a third section that is dependency review, which will come into picture when you will have a PR. So that's all in this today's video. In next videos, I'll talk in detail about what code scanning is, what Dependabot is, what secret scanning is, and how we can configure it, how we can use it. So if you like the video, do hit the like button, do subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications.